Welcome everyone to our third featured webinar for as part of our Business Professional and Alumni webinar series. This webinar is sponsored by the 2016-2017 Virtual Officer Team. My name is Kennedy Reynolds, and I proudly serve as the 2016-2017 Virtual President. Joining us today via Google Hangouts and YouTube Live is Glenn Gilliott, former Southern Region Vice President and current Chair of the Professional Division Membership and Alumni Committee. Questions for Glenn at any point during the webinar, please submit them into the live comments. You may also tweet them using #VirtualPBLWebinar. We will present them to Glenn at the end of the webinar. PBL members in attendance tonight, please submit your name and state in the live comments section. Glenn Gilliott is an organic chemistry PhD student at the University of Missouri, Columbia. He has been a member of FBLA-PBL for 9 years. Glenn is currently the chair of the Professional Division Membership and Alumni Committee and is a former PBL Southern Region Vice President. Glenn is here with us today to discuss leadership in the non-traditional business setting, as well as taking initiative in your post-secondary education. Glenn, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, well, hello everyone. Thank you for the great introduction, Kennedy. So today I'm going to talk about leadership in a sort of like non-business area of our education. So as you heard, I'm a organic chemistry PhD student. What that entails is I do a lot of science, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not going to go into that. But, you know, the leadership skills you actually learn in FBLA-PBL are actually transferable to all different career paths. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm also going to talk about taking initiative in your education and what that means and how you can get started on that. For instance, we get started on leadership. So for FBLA-PBL, my experiences are, as you heard, I was the Southern Region Vice President for PBL, and I'm the current chair for PD. I was also state president of Louisiana for 2 terms for PBL, and I've served on various councils and things like that. But I mean, leadership positions aren't necessarily the only source of gaining leadership development, leadership skills, and actually, you know, FBLA-PBL provides a lot of that. So for any of those going to NLC this summer, you know, you have the Institute for Leaders that also helps with leadership development, and so that's something that you should consider. But in terms of my background with chemistry, it might seem a little strange that this business organization helped develop me into a leader for a science area, but actually a lot of these industries cross over a lot. So you know, science industry, you have pharmaceutical companies, you have different hospitals and things like that, and different organizations that sponsor certain drugs, and all of that. Actually, that's a lot of business people and a lot of people in my field that are actually working both make these drugs and promote them and do things like that. So it's actually very important to have good leadership skills because it allows you to cross over a little bit easier. And in terms of my education, I'm going for a PhD. Any kind of graduate level education is extremely stressful, but it's worthwhile. And because of that, I actually need a lot of leadership skills. I need to also be able to use skills like time management and being able to effectively push myself to do what I need to do. Because I mean, yeah, in college you see nobody's really pushing you, but in graduate school you have to want it more if you're gonna succeed. Like, you have to really want it because like I said, it's a lot of stress. So in terms of what I'm doing actually right now in my graduate degree program, and I'm a first year, I work with Chemistry Graduate Student Organization in promoting chemistry. So we're doing a bunch of different outreach activities. We're actually planning what we're going to do for Chemistry Week next fall and things like that. And so we're I'm using actually a lot of things I learned from FBLA, like how to find sponsors, setting up events, making sure you're following through with those setups, coordinating different things, and managing a lot of people that go into those events. And one of the other events, big events that we do is like a Pi Day 5K. So that's another big event that we'll be working on setting up and trying to get people to attend and want to be active in. But going more so into specifically what I do in my degree program, though. So in my chemistry graduate program, I take so many classes. Like I take 5 3 credit hour classes, and then most of it is research. And the one constant thing I hear about the science field for graduate degrees is that it's 4 years of failure, 1 year of success. And that's really hard to hear because you think that everything will kind of be a little bit easier than just failing, 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 and failing, and then finally you succeed, and then defend your thesis, and then you get out. But it's not that simple. You have to come up with a lot of different ideas, and this is the same for any field for graduate degrees. For a master's or a PhD, you have to do a lot of work. You have to figure out what your project is. You have to know what you want to do. You have to be able to dedicate a lot of your time that you would use for other things to think about what you're going to do next. Graduate students spend a lot of time thinking about what's this next step I'm going to take. I could be up all night trying to figure out how I'm going to do a new reaction to either make it better or completely change conditions, but also making sure it's safe. So that's a that's a kind of a bit of a glimpse into my graduate school life. But you have to be able to. People talk about how leadership is so important because you're leading others, but a very important aspect of leadership is that you need to know how to be able to lead yourself. Actually, it's not as easy as it seems, and it may be working for you in undergrad, but if you try to go to the graduate degree level, it's a bigger push you have to give yourself, and you have to be willing to also basically take a leap of faith in a lot of aspects. And then, hopefully it pays off in the end. But a lot of it depends on, you know, you actually taking the time out and out of your day, figuring out what you're going to do before you do it, and analyzing the possibilities of whether or not that's going to work, whether or not this topic will work, that hasn't been done before, how if it has been done before, how can I improve it? That's also a big thing. And then, since I'm in the science field, we have our groups and our labs and things like that, and people that are more senior lab group members will actually help people like me, first years, acclimate to the new environment. So, and that involves teaching us how to do these new reactions, how to make sure, we don't, for lack of a better term, hurt ourselves. And, it, it takes a lot of leadership capabilities to be able to to impart that kind of information to somebody, but making sure they understand it, and not only that they understand it, that they can repeat it even when they're gone. um, and another aspect of graduate school is people are teaching assistants, so you have to lead labs or lectures and things like that in upper level classes, and that requires you to take a certain responsibility, which is a big part of leadership. So you have to be willing to take that responsibility, be willing to uh, put your all into those things, but also balancing your 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 classwork and your research and things like that. So uh, your time management skills need even more tweaking to be able to adjust to the graduate school level. Um, in terms of the other thing I want to talk about was taking initiative in education. So when I was applying for college, I I wanted to either go to medical school or pharmacy school. I wasn't even sure if I definitely even wanted to do that. I knew I wanted to do something science-based, but it sometimes it's good to have an idea when you're in college and you wanna kind of go in this way, but this direction. But remember, there are lots of directions you can take, degrees and different areas. So kind of keep things open mind. Keep an open mind when choosing where you want to go with things. Sometimes it's great to know exactly what you want to do right out the gate and get done with college in 4 years. But sometimes it takes a little time to figure out who you want to do, what's going to work for you, and what will make you happy. Um, so in my sophomore year, I actually decided to change my major from pre-pharmacy to chemistry because I found I liked lab work a lot more than I would probably like being in a pharmacy and selling, pills and consulting with patients. Um, and that's not to say that that's not a great job for somebody else. It just didn't fit me. So I had to readjust my priorities. I mean, I knew people can be scientists, but I didn't actually know what scientists do, what specific degrees they go after. So it was kind of an adjustment, and I kind of learned that, hey, I could go get a master's or a PhD in chemistry, and that could be that I take, but have to, or go for any of these advanced degrees, you have to be planning ahead. So your GPA is important and everything, but there's this thing called broader impacts that graduate schools are looking for. So how have you brought in your education to other people? Like how do you pass that information on? So for me, I'll do chemistry experiments for high school students. I've done it for Boy Scouts. I've done it for different groups. I've even done in chemical workshop at I did it at NLC and NFLC the past year, and those were pretty successful. I got a lot of people that wanted to come out, learn some cool things about science, but also learn how business and science commingle. So that's a pretty it was a pretty interesting experiment. I'm actually glad I'm going to continue it this summer. But you have to take initiative. You kind of have to at least have an idea or an open mind. Because you never know where your education can take you. You don't know what might pique your interest one day and change how you completely saw your future. And that's not a problem. And of graduating in 4 years. Otherwise, people look down on you. I mean, most people don't. A lot of people don't finish in 4 years. I finished my degree in 5. I'm not ashamed of it. I still have a degree, and that's great. And I got into graduate school without any problems. So I mean, if it takes you a little bit longer, that's fine. Just figure out where you at least like to go, what you like, what you'd be willing to be engaged in, at least to a degree, going forward. Um, from there, when you graduate, when you apply for jobs, if you apply for a graduate education, um, see what opportunities there are out there before you kind of just even jump on the first one. I mean, the current school I'm at, they were one of my top choices to go to, but originally I kind of wanted to go to Vanderbilt because I wanted to go there for my undergrad, and I didn't end up going. But I got a fellowship opportunity at University of Missouri, and so know what a fellowship are. Fellowships are programs that offer you support monetarily, like tuition and fees, and probably a stipend to do uh, to work on your degree program. And those are actually really good in terms of your future career. I mean, you can always say that you are a fellow of this program, so that's pretty cool. But you need to make sure you take an initiative, start asking those questions. If you're a freshman, it's a little early. It's a little early because you're just getting started. I suggest you at least get adjusted, but it doesn't hurt to start thinking about what you want to do. Um, Sophomore, and let's say you're looking at something like medical school, you might want to start getting adjusted in that year towards that area because you have things like an MCAT to take and different classes you have to take by a certain point. Before you take the MCAT, you can at least attempt to score. If you're interested in pharmacy, pretty much same protocol. If you're looking at graduate school, bad idea. I mean, you can start looking at this at the beginning of your junior year. I would suggest you at least start looking at the beginning of your junior year because you're going to need things like reference letters from your professors, and that takes a lot of initiative. And you need to be able to go to them and ask, and not only ask them, already have all your information prepared. So, I mean, professors have a lot of students usually, and so sometimes they can't get to know everybody on an individual basis. So, it doesn't hurt to if your program requires that you have a, statement of intent or something like that. It doesn't hurt to send them your draft so they can at least get to know you more on a personal level because uh, it helps them great letter specifically for you. And if anything, sometimes it's good to start looking for those professors that are going to write your reference letters in your freshman and sophomore year. Make, form relationships with them, get to know them and what they're doing. Actually show genuine interest. Um, but if there are any main takeaways from this, I just want you guys to know that qualities you learn in FBA PDL are transferable to any area that you go into. And the best thing you can do is with everything you've gotten from FBA PDL and everything you've gotten from your education from elementary school on up is to take initiative in it. I mean, you have more power now you have all the power and all the freedom to do as you wish with your undergraduate experience. So it's up to you to take the initiative. Your parents aren't going to hound you about your grades anymore. You have to make sure you're on top of everything, that you're doing what you're supposed to do. Um, Start thinking about the future and what that can entail. So thank you. I don't know if there's any questions.
Yeah, hi Glenn. There's a few questions. So can you hear me all right? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So we do have a few. So the first one, I guess it's kind of the usual, but what is your dream job and how do you wish to utilize your degree?
My dream job would be a chemist at a pharmaceutical company, if anything. I'd love to be designing possible new drugs and drug pathways, more specifically focused on natural products and how those are more effective as drugs and how they're also, more, uh, what's the best way to say this? How they're more suited for the body. They're not going to adversely affect your body. So that's basically what I'm focused on and what I would love to go into.
Okay. The next one you kind of already talked about a little bit, but maybe you have something you might have left out. But how do you feel you are able to express the leadership qualities you gained in FBLA, PBL, and apply them to your education?
Yeah, for the most part, I had to learn that, being in leadership positions, like I said, it requires you to, you think of it more so as requiring you to lead a group of people, but like I said, it also requires you to lead yourself, to be able to push yourself to do so. I learned that a lot from FBLA, PBL, and time management skills, working on different events, planning, coordinating things. It Even though it took a lot of effort doing those kind of things when I was FBLA and PBL member, it was so rewarding because now if I have to work on a project, work on projects for graduate school or pushing myself or getting organized for that, it's actually extremely easy. Well, easier than it would be if I hadn't had those experiences.
Okay. And then we just have one final question, and it's, what resources does the professional division offer, and what are the benefits of joining the professional division after PBL? We're encouraging business professionals in our state and community to join.
Okay, so resources, specifically for FBLA and PBL members, we have the resume review program. So you can, if you've been reading the business leader, you know, the professional division has had an ad about sending in your resumes and job application, or if you want to send your statement of intent for a graduate program, send those in and we can have somebody review those for you and get you ready for ready to send those application materials in, or those job application materials in. So that's a big resource. We also have opportunities for our members on committees, because right now, like, I'm over membership and alumni, so we're more so focused on how to keep moving people from division to division to division, and keeping in touch with alumni. If you're trying to recruit business business persons in your area, one thing you need to market is the network of high school and college members that we have and advisors. These could be all potential customers for their business or things like that, or for them to engage with and try to, you know, push their brand. So that's a good thing. And also, you know, getting involved with the local chapters. So at my at the chapter at University of Missouri, they have a speaker that's usually like a business owner or something come in every single meeting to talk about how they got started, you know, the what didn't work and things like that. So those are really important and actually allows those companies to, you know, extend their brand, because they usually bring in materials for the students or, you know, offer different things. So, you know, that's actually pretty cool. So I mean, for business persons, there's a lot of opportunities for you, but for our PBL members, it also offers you the opportunity to network at a higher level, get more, stay involved with the association, because this is a lifetime association. We want our members to stay involved. We want our members, when they move on, to come judge at conferences. That's a big thing. You know, a lot of these, especially the FBLA conferences, which can be really huge, you know, they don't work unless you have a lot of judges and people helping out to make those things happen. So, you know, it's great if we can keep our members involved to keep doing that. And also, it can become a great experience for PBL members and FBLA members if they stay involved and move up. For instance, I've been helping out with Louisiana FBLA State Conference for 5 years now, and I actually just helped out at Missouri's FBLA PBL State Conferences. And that was actually a really rewarding experience. I got to learn a lot of great things and how to actually help out my old state, Louisiana, try to, you know, push them forward and find ways to get students active.
Okay, great. Thank you, Glenn. It looks like that's all of our questions. So we'd like to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us tonight. We and the members of PBL greatly appreciate your insight. We hope you all enjoyed today's webinar and gained valuable information about how PBL and the professional division can help you to lead a legacy of leadership. On behalf of the 2016-2017 Virtual PBL Officer Team, I thank you for attending, and we hope to see you in the future for more virtually sponsored webinars.